Hey guys, what's up? Josie back here again, and preseason week 3 is over. Preseason week 4 is almost here. So what does that mean? Well, who's winning these camp battles? Who still has to win a spot preseason week 4? Who does this matter for the most? So let's look at my list of the top 10 camp battles and let's see who's the winner, or let's at least see who's winning as of right now. We'll have to go off based off a combination of stats and just how well they pass the eye test. So let's look at this from the top. Special teams, number 10, and we had a battle for long snapper back in the day. Remember that? Yeah, I do. Because it's already over. Like, of course, Austin Cutting won, and Kevin McDermott is off of the team. But don't worry, for your special teams needs, we still have a specialist battle. After that, or right before I forget, the Vikings traded for Corey Vedvik, a punter / kicker, which makes this a whole lot of fun because he's competing with two others. So, of course, now inked in Vedvik, you can't trade a 5th round pick for a specialist and have him not make the team. So he's on the team. So since he's competing for both a punting and kicker job, where he's won at least one of them, we have to look at both of his stats. So Vedvik has 5 punts with a net of 40 yards and 0 for 2 on field goals. So it's not too hard to be a better field goal kicker than him, which Bailey is. Bailey has been perfect with PATs and field goals in preseason games, but has had mixed results in practice. So, of course, preseason stats are going to be a very small sample size, but he's been perfect in those attempts. Our Matt Weil has had 9 punts for 40.4 yards, which is a little bit better than Vedvik, who 0.4, not a big difference, but Vedvik clearly didn't blow them both out of the water. So if this was a fair competition where we would just have the best 2 specialists make it, well, it'd probably just be Weil and Bailey. But since Vedvik's making the team, he will be the Vikings punter of 2019, and Matt Weil is gone. So number 9, I had a fun one. It was kind of a backup of the offensive players. I had kind of tight ends and running back backups. Who's going to fill that last role? Are we going to carry 4 tight ends or 4 running backs? Or maybe a second fullback. Let's see. So this is an optional spot. A maximum of 1 is what I said when I first made this. But all 3 of these players, you could say, a reason for keeping them. So the front runner was Amir Abdullah. And I thought he had to win the kick return job. So how well has he been doing at kick returning? Well, we'll look at that soon. But first off, he's a running back, so he had 5 carries, 67 yards. Very, very good. 1 catch, 5 yards. Solid. And he had 2 returns with 21.5 yards. This is what we care about the most, but that is the 5th worst on the team, which is not going to win him that job when he's supposed to be the guy. And that horrible fumble. We have to talk about that. That's the biggest reason he left Detroit, because he had fumbling issues. Then he gets tackled by Casper and fumbles in the Vikings uniform. So that is not good. That's one thing that could easily get him X'd off this list. So number 2, Tyler Conklin, a tight end, late round pick last year that I already read off, but he had one really good game. He had on the year for preseason, he has 4 catches for 68 yards. Who would have saw? He looks like he's quicker, faster, just knows what he's doing a lot better, playing to the speed of the NFL a lot more than what he was last year, where he was just overwhelmed throughout the season. And we're finally seeing that receiving tight end, athletic tight end out of Tyler Conklin that we wanted to see. But we have one more that's even better. On the outside looking in, as of when I made this list, Kari Blasingame, undrafted free agent, is stealing the show. 1 rush, 1 yard, but it was for a touchdown. Goal line fullback did his job. Where this man's making his work is a receiving fullback, 5 receptions, 63 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nobody can cover this man. He's unstoppable out of the backfield, at least against 2s and 3s. We have to see how he would do against the first team defenses. But against backups, he's the best player on the field, basically. Nobody can make plays on him. He's so fast, so athletic. As a fullback, that is insane. He is the winner of this tight ends and fullback camp battle goes to Corey Bisi game. But don't rule out Tyler Conklin. The Vikings might keep 2, even though I thought there'd be a limit of 1. They might be able to get 2 out of here. Abdullah maybe even has a chance as well. He could kind of be a Jerick McKinnon role, a receiving scat back, and also be a returner if they want to go that way, but I don't think they will. Moving on, number 8 at defensive end. So of course we had 3 that were inked in, and we have 1 to 2 spots that could be open. The front runner was Tayshawn Bauer, but he tore his Achilles. He's no longer in the running. So moving on, we have Ifeadi Odedabu, who all he did was look like a young Everson Griffin, a big, thicker, broader defensive end, good athletic ability, can tear out of offensive tackles, can just run over them, and he can go inside and be rushing 3 defensive end set as well and rush on these offensive guards. So Ifeadi Odedabu looked really, really good in his time. Another player, Ade Aruna, was hurt last year and is getting back to the speed of things. You haven't seen him a whole lot. He's a practice squad candidate, so probably won't be on the team. On the outside looking in, though, we have Carter Shullett, AAF standout, and he has also looked good, like Ifeadi, but against the third teamers, so I don't think he'll be making it. Maybe a practice squad guy as well. But my man Odedabu has won the battle for defensive end. Moving on to number 7 linebacker. So inked in, we had Barr and Kendricks, and of course Ben Gideon. Those are going to be the starters. And then we had all these backups options. Depends how much you want here. This is an option where we could only have 1, all the way up to 3, and have a backup for each position. But they have all played good, so I think it will be the latter. So starting off, we have Eric Wilson, explosive backup. His stats weren't just enormous, but of course, preseason, you have 4 games, you only play a handful of snaps each game, and it's only the 3rd one. So he hasn't had a chance to really show out, but his athletic ability, more than enough, warrants a spot. Kentrell Brothers, kind of the opposite end of things in the sense of his athletic ability. He's supposed to be that sure tackler guy, but not super athletic. But his stats don't pop off the table at all like Kendricks, but he doesn't have to have the athletic ability upside. But we also have Cameron Smith, 5th round rookie, and he's been a surprise. He's been leading the whole team in tackles, which is really cool. If we want a linebacker that's supposed to do is making tackles. But we also have one more, and that's Devontae Downs, who's been kind of a game wrecker. 3rd on the team with tackles. He has a sack, and he has an interception. He's been doing it all. So if I had to give who won the camp battle for linebackers out of these, give a number 1, Devontae Downs won the battle at linebacker. For some reason only one backup, he would be the guy. If I do 2nd place, Cameron Smith, leading the team in tackles, great. Be a great special teams guy. You can't rule out Eric Wilson. I think we'd keep all 3 making the team. So moving on, we have number 6 is corners. And of course we have inked in. We have Xavier Rhodes, Trey Waynes, Mackenzie Alexander, and Mike Hughes fresh off the pup. He's good to go. And I also had Holton Hill here, but serving that suspension. But he had that hit where he got fined and got kicked out of the game. Will he still make the team? We'll have to see. Well, let's look at the other options. And I had as the front runner was Chris Boyd, but he's got burned all day in week 3, so I don't think he makes the team. We had Benway Benwickery, but he got cut already, so he ain't making the team. We had Duke Thomas, AF standout, had mountains around the league a little bit. He had 7 tackles and a forced fumble, already looking good. And the outside looking in, we had Nate Matters, and he has not played a whole lot, so probably won't be making the team. So out of those 3 options, it'd be Duke Thomas would be winning this camp battle, but has he played good enough to take the role away from Holton Hill? I think Holton Hill still gets passed. He will not get cut. He'll serve his 8-game suspension. Duke Thomas will make the roster for the time being. He has won this camp battle, but 8 weeks, I would expect Holton Hill to come back. Duke Thomas is cut that point. So Duke Thomas gets to chill on the roster for a little bit. So he's for now, won the camp battle. Moving on to safety. Inkton, Harrison Smith, Anthony Harris, Jaron Curse, Harrison Smith, both look fantastic. Anthony Harris, you would expect to look good when the regular season comes, but a little bit iffy sometimes in preseason. But we have 1 and 2 spots open. This is a area where maybe one of these safeties could maybe snipe the spot instead of Duke Thomas at cornerback. But if they want a true safety, we'd have to look here. So, front runner, we really didn't have anybody. Only 1 and 2 spots are open. And we have some options. So, number 1, we have Darren Smith, 5th-year backup, 1 pass breakup, and 2 tackles. So, a solid outing there. I also have Marcus Epps, a 6th-round rookie, and he's been really all over the place. 9 tackles and can play nickel. You see him do that in practice and a little bit in the games. And on the outside looking in was Micah Abernathy, but he's already with the Titans, so he's not going to be with the Vikings. So we have the 2 options. We want the veteran or do we want the rookie? It comes down to my man Marcus Epps being able to play nickel. If we don't want Duke Thomas, it's going to be a situation week 4. Watch out to which one of these 2 is playing better. Epps could steal the spot, and Duke Thomas might even make the roster, and we just have Epps be that backup safety and corner if we need to go there. But I think Epps deserves a spot. Put to their man roster. He's won the safety battle. Moving on to defensive tackle number 4 in Inkton. I had Linval Joseph, Shamar Stephen, and Jaleel Johnson. Maybe not. He got pushed around quite a bit when he was starting in place of Linval Joseph. But since he was taking those first team reps, he probably still makes the team. So probably don't need to have him in the competition. So we have 1, 2, 3 spots open depending how the Vikings wanted to do this. So we had the front runner was Jalen Holmes, drafted as a defensive end, and he showed it. He got moved into defensive tackle, and he really did look like that. He had a good pass rush, but really did get exposed in the run game. So I don't think he'll be a 3-down deep tackle, but he did look good enough to be in a situational one. Another similar player, Hercules Mataafa, undrafted last year, and was basically unblockable. He looked like a guy that consistently has fantastic pressure, probably has similar issues as Jalen Holmes, wasn't exposed as much because he didn't go against the first teamers as much, but he did have a few reps. So I think you have to look forward to his future, but there's still more. We have Armin Watts, who, man, a 6th-round pick, and he's already looking like a poor man's Kevin Williams. He has a pass deflection and a sack. He's been doing it all. I know it's against third stringers, right? He's not going against first teamers yet, but in his limited time, he has looked very, very good. Don't be surprised if he snipes a roster spot. Another guy to look for preseason week 4. But who has won the camp battle? And it has to go to Jalen Holmes. He's going against the 1, so he'd be the number 1 guy. So he's won it. But Hercules Mataafa right behind him, almost a 1A, 1B situation. They'll be on the field a lot. They'll probably swap who's going to be on the field on 3rd downs. It'll be a lot of fun to watch. I think Mataafa might be the best pure pass rusher, where Jalen Holmes a little bit less, doesn't have quite as much fast twitch off the line, but a little bit better against the run. But neither are going to be stout against the run. So, but Jalen Holmes a little bit closer to a full-fledged defensive tackle than Mataafa probably will ever be. But as of right now, Jalen Holmes has won the camp battle. Number 3, everybody's favorite position for the Vikings, offensive line. This one should be fun. So Inkton, Riley Reef, Elfline, although he got pushed around a little bit at the ones, Bradbury, Josh Klein, and O'Neal, although he's been hurt throughout preseason, but he's expected to be able to play week 1. And I'm pretty sure my boy Samia, Drew Samia, will be good to go. And he should also be Inkton. Been looking too good. You could say he's won the camp battle, but I think he's basically won it from the day he was drafted. Basically destined to make 53, and I think he's on it. So who will fill in the rest of the spots? I think we have 1 to 2 spots open. Who will take the rest? So I think we have the top runner. I have Brett Jones, who's a little bit more of a more powerful guard / center, but not as fast. Where Pat Elfline has that athletic ability, but will get pushed around. Brett Jones will not get pushed around, but can he really get to that outside guy in this outside zone scheme? That will be tough. So if the Vikings see he's not a scheme fit. Maybe he hits the axe, but he might be better than Pat Elflein if it was a 1v1 in a no scheme scenario. We also had Danny Isidora, who I thought has looked good when he's filled in. And remember, all these backups, our backup running backs in preseason has looked really good. It comes down to this offensive line, all looked good. So this is a really good sign for the Vikings. This is going to be a tough call to make, because Danny Isidora has also looked good in his time. And then one of the most surprising ones, my man Ali, 6th round Giant, and looked fantastic. One of the best looking offensive linemen looking like for the Vikings, but it's against the third stringer. So it's a guy that you'd expect, or you'd at least hope that would look good against them, and he has been absolutely dominant out there. But he might be more of a practice squad guy just because he's raw and looking good against third stringers doesn't mean he'll look good against even second stringers. So give him a chance, but I don't think he probably makes the 53 just because he'd be the easiest to slide onto the practice squad. But moving on, my man Dakota Dozier, a free agent signing that went under my radar, and he's played both guard and tackle. The Vikings need versatility, and he's played both those positions good in preseason at a good enough level against the twos for the most part. And I think he looked really good, and I think he could push Rashad Hill. And then we had on the outside looking in Cornelius Edison and Adivante Collins. Both have a chance, but neither are as good as Dakota Dozier, who I think has won the camp battle and has looked the best out of all these offensive linemen. He's been against the best competition. His versatility, I think, has absolutely earned him a roster spot, being able to play guard and tackle. You just need that in the NFL, and I think he's earned it and has won the camp battle for offensive line. Moving on, number 2, the most important position on the field, quarterback. And this one has been a discussion for many people. I've been talking about it. I've had a video planned. It's still coming, but I need to get this stuff out first. So we have my boy Kirk Cousins inked in. That's the only one inked in, basically. We have the top runner who I had was Kyle Sloter, because he should be the top runner. And he's just been absolutely dominant. He's just been a fourth quarter preseason god. Nobody can stop him. When he's on the field, the Vikings just win. He's basically Tom Brady intelligence, accuracy, arm talent with Cam Newton's athletic ability when it's fourth quarter of preseason games. He's just too good. Nobody can stop him. But Sean Mannion's going to be the backup because he's been good enough. He has a veteran. He has some experience. So Mike Zimmer likes him a little bit more. And also Jake Browning is on the team, but he's barely played at all. So he's barely in the discussion. So if we're talking strictly preseason, I think Kyle Sloter has far and away won the camp battle and should be quarterback 2. But it's going to be Sean Mannion. It's just going to be. As much as we don't like it, it's going to be Sean Mannion. But just for the sake of this video, Kyle Sloter, you've won the camp battle. Alright, number 1. Everybody knew. It's going to be wide receiver. This one is crazy, and it still is crazy. So inked in is Diggs and Thielen. That is it. Paul Allen says Chad Beebe is basically inked in at wide receiver 3. I don't think it should be because he's not looked good at all in preseason. But let's look at it. And the top runner I thought was still Laquan Treadwell, despite being in Stefanski's doghouse. In preseason, he's gone 5 for 59. But mainly has played against the 3s. You've barely seen him at all. I don't think he's played a single snap with the 1s. He's played a few with the 2s, but basically was just put in there to be basically a blocking wide receiver or slot tight end type of a player. Barely got any pass receptions or any pass reps when he was in with the 2s, and just played with the 3s. And when it's Kyle Sloter time, everybody's going to get the football. So he's made some plays then. Moving on, Chad Beebe. Both should be locked in at 3. But didn't look at it at all. 1 catch for 7 yards to 3 games of preseason. But hey, he's a good holder, so he'll be making the team for at least specialist. We'll see how many reps he actually gets in the regular season as a wide receiver. Probably will get a lot. Probably just not looking good in preseason for whatever reason. And probably will look better. But as far as preseason goes, he's definitely not won the camp battle. Moving on, we have Dylan Mitchell. Basically a non-factor. Well, only 1 catch, 10 yards, and has 2 returns for a 23-yard average, which is second worst on the team. A little bit of disappointment when we had 2 7th-round picks, but the other one really did save him. So we also had Jordan Taylor, who is already cut, so he's a non-factor. But here's my man who I was talking about, alluding to earlier. Bisi Johnson has been absolutely dominant in all phases of the game. This man has 31.5 kick return average, which leads the team, 5 punt return chances, which leads the team, and most importantly, this man has 5 receptions for 87 yards and a touchdown, and should have had a 2 if replay refs knew how to look at a replay. This man is so good at all phases. I don't think he just won the wide receiver. I think he should be wide receiver 3 and the starting punt returner for this team. He's been so good all around. Keep this man, feed this man, and we'll be doing good. But let's look at some of the other chances before some of these other options. Since we have 3 to 5 spots wide open, we still have a space for some of these other guys to make it on the team. So let's look at it. We also have my man, Speedy McGee, Jeff Badet. Only 1 catch, 7 yards, but he has 5 returns and second on the team with 28.2 average. So he's kind of a hopefully poor man's Squirrel Patterson. You won't see him a whole lot on offense, but if he could win that kick return job, which I think, hot take, I think he wins it. I think that's good enough for him to make the team. He gives, even though Bisi Johnson was leading the team in average, of course, small sample size in preseason, 1 good return will give you that highest average. I think Badet gives you that highest potential, and he doesn't have that fumbling issue that Abdullah has. So I think Badet should make the team for a kick returner. But we also have one more, and it's Brandon Zylstra. 6 catches, 44 yards, and 1 touchdown. Very similar to Laquan Treadwell. He's going to be that short yardage, big-bodied receiver. He hasn't shown that drop-in ability that Treadwell is so fond of having. But has he done enough? It's a lot like Laquan. He's going against threes, and you see his stats, a lot of catches, not a whole lot of yards. It's a lot of underneath stuff. He does have that touchdown, which is cool, but it's Kyle Sloter Saturday. Everybody's going to get a touchdown. So I think if Treadwell's really is in the doghouse, I think he is the Treadwell replacement if you want that big-bodied receiver. But I just think Laquan's better. I think his upside is at the very least he can be a solid blocker if you don't want and that extra blocking tight end. Remember, David Morgan will probably start on the pup, so having Laquan be basically a slot tight end out there to be blocked on the outside zone will help a lot. So I think he is, on paper, the best right now, even if the Vikings want to get rid of him. I think he does it, but who's won the camp battle for wide receiver? Far and away, Bisi Johnson. But if you want to rank, since this is such a wide open one, I did that for you as well. So number 1, obviously, Bisi Johnson. Number 2 is Laquan Treadwell. He's just complete. I don't care what you guys have to say. 4th-year receiver. He's veteran enough to know how to get open with it, whether it's man or zone, which BB has not proven in preseason. Big-bodied, can block. He's good enough, right? And number 3, Jeff Badet. Despite his stats not being gaudy, his special teams assets, I think, earns him that 3rd rank. Then we have to look at Brandon Zylstra, which would make our, probably heading into the regular season, number 3 receiver. The 2nd worst out of this bunch, only ahead of Dylan Mitchell, who's a 7th-round rookie that's not named Bisi Johnson. That will probably still make the practice squad. But there we have it. There we are, our wide receivers, and more importantly, those are the 10 winners of all the camp battles added in the specialists, since we had to change that up for kickers and punters instead of holders. Who do you guys think? Did I get any of these wrong? Do you, especially wide receiver? I know you guys hate my take that Laquan will be number 2. Out of these spots, of course, Diggs and Thielen 1 and 2, and then we have Bisi, and then Jimmy Treadwell number 4. But there we have it. Give me your thoughts in the comments. We'll see you guys in the next Vikings video. See you guys then.